The Game of Chess, the King's Lesson in Wisdom. Long, long ago, there was a king in northern India who loved to play chess. Naturally, he was an exceptionally good player, and over the course of many years, very few could claim to have beaten the king at his favorite game. Of course, everyone, including the rank beginners, wanted to play chess with the king. Consequently, there were always would-be champions clamoring at the palace gates, but none of them knew very much about the game. In the end, the king became so disgruntled that he issued a proclamation that whoever played and lost a game of chess against him would be beheaded. This certainly dampened enthusiasm, because it is not very nice to have one's head lopped off over a game of chess. Months went by without chess being played at the palace. Then one day, a scholarly-looking individual from a neighboring kingdom presented himself at the palace and challenged the king to play him chess. "I accept your challenge," said the king. "But I hope you realize, my friend, that if you lose the game, you will also lose your head." The scholar merely smiled. "Yes, your majesty, I have heard of your proclamation. Maybe I will lose the game and my head. On the other hand, I may win. What then?" "Impossible," snorted the king. "No one has beaten me for years. But if by some mischance you did manage to win, you can have anything you wish." "That sounds perfectly fair," said the scholar. "But all I want would be some corn, and let it be measured by a chessboard. 1 grain of corn on the first square, then doubled on each successive square, until all the 64 squares of the board are accounted for." The king was highly amused. "You could have asked for gold, jewels, or even part of my kingdom. Instead, you ask a mere pittance. You must be a fool, and you deserve to lose your head." The scholar merely shrugged his shoulders. "Your Majesty, I not only hope to win the game, but methinks I shall have a double win." "We shall see," chortled the king, and he ordered one of his ministers to fetch the chess set. The king also told the executioner to sharpen his sword. The game started with the king very confident, and in no time he captured several pieces. But the scholar appeared quite unconcerned, and you would never think that his head was at stake on the game. Then the king, perhaps overconfident, made a rash move, which the scholar was quick to see. The next time the king looked at the board, he was horrified to see that he was checkmated, and so the game was lost. The king admitted defeat with good grace and praised the scholar for his clever play. Then he asked him, "Before we began the game, you mentioned you would have a double win. Exactly what did you mean?" "That I will explain after I receive my prize of the corn," replied the scholar. The king was still curious, but he ordered that the corn be measured as the scholar had laid down. The chief minister hurried away on this errand, but after an hour he returned, looking very dazed and bewildered. "Your Majesty," he stammered, "the storekeepers tell me that if you take 1 grain of corn and double it 64 times according to the number of squares on a chessboard, the total number of grains, when added together, comes to the staggering figure of well over 18 million. "What is more," said the shaken minister, "the storekeepers tell me that if we employ 100 men to work day and night, it would take many years to count such a huge number." But that did not really matter, because there is not that amount of grain in the kingdom, and we could not grow it in a lifetime. The king was dumbfounded and did not know what to say, but when he looked at the scholar's smiling face, he began to understand. "Tell me," said the perplexed king, "why did you gamble your head on a doubtful victory?" "But it was not doubtful, sire," replied the scholar, "because when I named the prize, you said I was a fool to ask for such a pittance. That showed you to be impetuous, and impetuous people are inclined to make rash moves when they play chess." "Well, you have certainly had a double win," admitted the king. "You won the game, and then I cannot pay the stake. But you have taught me a lesson, for in future there will be no more beheadings. I will play chess for the enjoyment of the game,